Well, hello, Prospector Paul here. Welcome to Arizona. Boy, when they say everything out here wants to stick you or poke you, they ain't a lying. Check this stuff out. Everything has thorns on it. There's some kind of sticker or picker. Or I haven't seen too many critters yet as it's been kind of cold. It's only getting up around 70, but next week's supposed to get around 80s, and they say the snakes will come out then. But so far, everything's just been trying to pick me and not stick me. So this is pretty amazing for a Flatlander Michigan boy like me to see all this cool stuff. These cactus, I believe these are the prickly pears. Pretty cool. All right, so what are we doing today? Well, obviously we're going to do a little gold mining, and I've been working a little area here, not too far from my truck, pretty easy access. Just trying to get a feel for the place. You know, I've tried mining and digging around in some of these ravines and whatnot, but they're so full of overburden and tailings, it doesn't make sense to me, and I really wasn't finding anything. So what I've been looking for is this ground that just hasn't been worked before, you know. I mean, this is all tailings, it's all been worked, but nobody's worked this in quite a while. So what I've done here is I've just kind of dug down to where it turns into the clay. It acts like a false bedrock, and I just take the dirt off the top of that. I try to get rid of as much of this loose debris, leaves and grass and whatnot. I'll sweep that out of the way first, then I'll start digging and poking around under these rocks and whatnot. That seems to be pretty good. I have ran a few buckets already, and I did get a pretty nice, well, I'm calling it a picker, possibly a small nugget. I mean, depends on your version of it, right? But yeah, we're gonna have a good cleanup at the end of this. I'm gonna set you up on a tripod, show you what I do to work some of this material. We'll classify it down a ½ inch, put it in some buckets, take it back to camp, and process that in a little bit. Can't stress enough, get yourself some knee pads. It really helps on this terrain. I mean, the little rocks, the thorns and everything, this really protects my knees, and I haven't had no problems since I've been wearing them. So that's the first thing you should get. Always wear your gloves too. Yeah, like I said, everything out here is going to stick you or pick you or bite you, and it just makes sense. All right, so I'm going to get to working on this vegetation here. Now that I got some of the material loosened up, we're going to start running it through the classifier. You just shake it up. Rid of your bigger rocks. Scrub them off a little bit in case there's some gold stuff to them. Back at it. rinse and repeat. So I keep working under these rocks and whatnot and pulling these cobbles out of here. But I work it down to the clay, and I don't know if this is going to show this, but the clay, I mean, that's all, I'm right there. This is scraping the gravels right out of it. But the clay in this particular spot makes a little bowl there. Do you see, can you see that? That is what I try to pay attention to. That's the stuff I'm trying to scrape up. I'll bring in a little sand scoop shovel and sweep that in there and make sure that stuff gets in the bucket. There's another one right in here, another one right in there. So yeah, as I'm knocking this material down, I keep cleaning that all out. But I'm going to scrape that actual clay off, you know, and just make sure I'm right down to that layer, because I'm certain that's the stuff that's holding the gold. There's those little depressions like that. I also wanted to point out, check this flat rock out. So I gotta get a couple of rocks off of there, but there could definitely be some gold laying on that. That is pretty darn cool. I've never really experienced that yet before. I don't know what's going on there, but we'll make sure all that material ends up in the bucket. All right, back in a bit. Well, the hole got a little bigger. Have to leave that bucket there. That shows this is my claim on the claim, so abide by the rules. Hopefully we get some gold out of this spot. Well, we're getting ready to run our pay dirt for today. So we got the Gold Hog stream sluice set up here at an 8-degree angle. This is the lower volume mat that allows you to run at a little slower speed. So I'm using this as a safety net. What I've seen for results is just a couple of nano dots. Everything is getting caught upstream here in my homemade high banker. I did make some improvements. I switched the spray bar around to the front end instead of working off of this bar, and this opened up a lot of material in here. I know it's working pretty well. The rocks are coming out really clean, so that's a good sign. It seems to be working great. So we're going to put some miner's moss in here. I am putting this over top of the Gold Hog mother lode mat. I like this mother lode. It's really really good at catching the fine gold. So I put this miner's moss in there like so, and then I use this expanded metal. It's a lot easier with two hands. So I put this expanded metal grating over the top of it. And that just holds it right in place. And the other thing I like about this is it catches a lot of the vegetation, which keeps my water clean. So we'll be putting the pay dirt in here. It's classified to 1/2 inch. It comes down here, gets classified down to 1/4. I get to view the rocks coming off before they end up in the tub. That gives me a chance to see if there's any gold nuggets hanging out. I will also metal detect that before I get rid of the rocks. Spread them out real thin, run the Gold Monster 1000 over them. The pay dirt comes down, gets into this grading system, runs through the miner's moss and the mats. This is set up at about 11.5 degrees right now. And then it goes to the stream sluice, which the water is, you know, the stream sluice is a little wider, so that drops the water level down. And then that exposes your concentrates closer to the mat. So if there's anything that does not get caught up above, it should get caught down below. And like I say, so far so good. I haven't seen anything to speak of in the stream sluice. So this up here is catching 99% of the gold. I do have a 4-tub system. And these 2-inch pipes are siphons. So you just cut one side a little longer than the other. And the way I've been working it is the first tub's longer, then these are a little shorter, and that just draws farther down so that you don't draw up all the vegetation. I did skim this. You can see that there's hardly any vegetation floating in that one. This one gets a little scummy. That one's got the most vegetation in it, and that one will have the biggest stuff, but I scoop that after every bucket that I run. So let's get the system fired up. I think we could run it right now, just to show you. I don't know how long the water will stay clear. It's definitely spraying good. Yeah, the water's not very clear. Yeah, a little bit. You can see she's roiling around though. It's drawing, so that's good. Still clear though. That's awesome. Got a little bit of air bubbles in there. You got to get them out of the way first before you run. Looking good. A bit of junk up in there. Okay, I'll get her fired up, start running some dirt. Okay, so we've taken about 150 gallons of pay dirt and we've run them through the sluices, and we've turned 150 gallons into about 1.5 gallons of concentrates. It's up about here, 1.25 gallons, 1.5 gallons, something like that. Now we need to find out how much gold we got, and we have options. We could use the blue bowl. Takes about 2 hours. You'd have to classify it all down with a classifier to about 1/4 inch. Run it. That's a way. You could pan it all out. We could use the magnet to remove as much black sand as possible. Be left with about a heaping pan and about 2 hours worth of panning. Or we could try this Gold Hog multi-sluice and be done in about 20 minutes. So I think we're going to go for the third option. I have my tub set up. I have a masonry tub filled with water. I have a catch basin. All my tailings will go in here. I got a 1,100 gallon bilge pump. Have the recommended hose for the sluice, and we have this bad boy set at 12 degrees right now, and we have the washer mat. So we're going to run our 1.5 gallons through this. We should be left with about 1 cup of material. And then we're going to crank this baby up, and we're going to run the material again at about 13 degrees. So let me get you set up, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we're just going to feed the material in. Put it down there. You can feed it pretty aggressive. You can take it. it side to side, trying to keep the material even. See the rocks dancing through there. This is pretty cool. Let's take a look at it while the water's still clean. Not a lot of material in there. That's good. Putting it all in the tailings bin. All right, I'll run this bucket and I'll get you back on. Okay, so we finished that first run. I'm pretty impressed. We took 1.5 gallons of material, and you can see there isn't a heck of a lot in there. I could pan it from here and have a real good shot at getting this done in an hour, but we're gonna increase the pitch, change the mat, and run it again and get even more of that material out of there. So I'll get right back with you here in a little bit. Okay, so we went from 150 gallons down to about 1.5 gallons, down to a very manageable pan on just one run. Now I've put the other mat in. I inserted the, no I haven't. I have to insert the fitting in here to make this go down to about 800 gallons per minute. I raised this up to 13.5 degrees, and we're gonna run the concentrates again through there, and then we'll rerun everything that was tailings from the first run. And we should be left with about 2 tablespoons of material when we're done, which is very manageable. Can't wait. Be right back. All right, so we just ran the little bit that was in the pan, and I can see gold all throughout there. Hopefully you can too. There's some right there, some right there, some right there. So cool. A little bit down here. It's all over in this mat. All right, I'm gonna clean that out, and then I'll do the final cleanup, and we'll see what we got. All right, so there's the gold for the week. I don't know if you can see that, but we're gonna take and pour it on this little tray. And then we're going to do everybody's favorite, cook a little gold. Hopefully you can see that nice picker in there. Okay, so this is really exciting to me. I finally got some weighable gold from Arizona. This is my first week's cleanup. Mind you, I was kind of prospecting all over the place, you know, just trying to get a feel for it, figure out where this gold is. So, we got it all dried up. We're going to do the weigh-in. So, I got my little scale here, and we're going to weigh my little picker. So I'm thinking we're going to tear that out. My guess is 7 ounces. 0.041, 0.04 of a gram. Okay. Still, that's a cool picker. Pretty hard to find one of those in Michigan, so I'm really glad I came here to Arizona. .259 grams, I see a little bit did fall out of the little tray there. So I'm going to have to pick that up. Give it another weigh in. So, about 1/4 of a gram. Not bad. That'll work. I got some plans to build a trommel. My real issue here is the clay. I keep stopping at the clay, and that's actually where the gold is. So I'm going to have to use like a cement mixer type method with it. Bust it all up, turn it into a slurry, and then run it through the sluice. So I'll be doing that this week, getting that process started. So awesome. Good week from Arizona. Can't wait to get my trommel built and get a real wash plant running here. It's going to be awesome. Stick around, folks. Prospector Paul, out.